Welcome to the Spotlight Session. It's a game-changing interview series that showcases award-winning agency owners to share secrets of starting and scaling a marketing business.
Hey, welcome everyone to another episode of our podcast here at HighLevel. We call it the Spotlight Sessions. Today, I have a very special guest, Austin Schneider. And Austin was someone who came in our radar and he was doing a lot of cool things in our community. But most importantly, he's been in HighLevel and using our systems for over 4 or 5 years. And he is building a very unique style of agency. And over time, he has now spent time teaching people how to build a lifestyle oriented agency where you're not selling your soul, as he says, and be able to put your CEO hat on. So without any further ado, Austin, thanks for saying yes to us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's awesome to be here, and hopefully we can add some value to the community, and hopefully people come out with some actionable things to execute. That's the goal.
Absolutely. So if you're watching and just tuning in now, in the comments below, tell us what city or state or region where you're checking in from. And we got a lot of things to unpack. So just to kind of give you a quick overview of what we're going to cover today, it's going to be around how to get a steady stream of clients without the cold outreach and referrals. We're going to talk about three things: the inbound system that works while you're asleep, and number two, how to ditch the cold DMs and referral chase, and also why Austin's method might be the future of client acquisition. Austin, tell us a little bit about your agency story. How did you find HighLevel? How did you even get into the world of digital marketing?
Yeah. So basically, yeah, upbringing, didn't even know what entrepreneur was when I was like 17, 18, and thought that I was going to be, a police officer, join the military, was unemployed, whatever, smoking weed. That was like my idea of what my future was. And then kind of got into a corporate job at a call center, and then worked my way up into like business development. Got a really good mentor who kind of like saw a lot in me, and that eventually led me to doing sales, and kind of just like this was like over 10 years ago, but kind of just the business of you eat what you kill. And that really inspired me and got me fired up. So with that notion, outside of sales, I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to sell real estate. That was my first like business thing. So left that job and was making six figures when I was like 21 years old. I was like, I'm gonna sell real estate. So did that for a little bit. And then when I was selling real estate, I was like, how am I going to get clients? So what did I do? I started posting on social media, started building a brand, doing like all these house tour stuff, and got clients from it. But what also came was a lot of people were like, hey, how are you doing this whole social media thing? So I didn't even really know what agency like was, and started helping people. And I was like, I could like get paid to do this. So that's when I was like 3 years after jumping into real estate, I was like, I'm going to go all in on this whole like agency thing and whatnot. And that was the start of pretty much being a glorified freelancer, and jumping into it. So
I love that. So how did you find HighLevel?
yeah, HighLevel. I mean, so we've tried like all the softwares, right? There's so many different softwares for calendars. There's softwares for texting. There's software for emailing. There's like all these different like opportunities and ways that you can, communicate with clients or organize your CRM or have a one-stop shop, or not even a one-stop shop, have all these different softwares for all these different things. And then what really drew us to HighLevel was just like the ability to have everything in one. Like we had our website, we could build funnels really quickly. We had all of the automations, which is something that we really preach and talk a lot about inside of Agency U currently, is just like the ability to have automations and communicate in an automated way. And HighLevel is like a no-brainer for any agency, because it literally has everything that you need and more in one, and you don't have to have 20 different softwares to do it.
Amazing. So help us understand what you mean by how to get steady stream of clients without cold outreach. How is that possible?
Yeah. I mean, one of the like leads and like systems is something that like I'm super, super passionate about, and just the ability to systematize our business. Because I think anybody watching or listening didn't start a business to basically create a job for themselves, right? And I think that's what happens a lot of times is when people start to grow their business, they basically and myself included, I stepped back and I was like, I just created a job for myself and I have 5 clients, and I'm pretty much like a slave to these clients in some ways, where it's like, I'll do whatever just because it's all based off of me. So we really preach and talk a lot about, building systems around all areas of the business. So from like a lead gen perspective, how do we predictably build a system around getting new clients? Okay, well, there's a bazillion different ways to do that. Sure, you could do cold outreach, but sure, you could, DM people. Sure, you could post on social media. My thing was like, sure, I could go to networking events and go talk to a bunch of people and shake hands. But what is the way that can actually predictably get clients without having to spend a lot of time or do things manually? And for us, like we teach a lot on like the ads side of things, and specifically like pairing content with specific easy like DM ads, essentially, where people just like DM us. So that's what we call the authority funnel. And part 1 is create content, positioning yourself as an authority. That helped us quite a bit. Today's day and age, if you're not creating content, you're missing out on a lot. And then a simple DM ad of predictably getting new clients to come to you via DMs, essentially, in building trust. So that's like the high level. We can dig in as much as you want.
Yeah, let's dig in. Let's dig in. Help us understand how you discovered that to be a thing. I know that, being a previous agency owner myself, like the game doesn't start until the world of inbound leads. However, you bring those inbound leads in, whether it's organic, cold calling, paid ads, like you're saying, partnerships, whatever it is, if until you get to the world of inbound leads, you just typically haven't started the agency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, and I think like in today's day and age, there's a problem with trust, right? Like we look on social media, we're bombarded with 20 different ads and all these guarantees and these ways that people can help you. So naturally, people just don't really trust a lot of service providers out there, agencies included. And it's really hard to build that trust and establish that trust. So how do we create a method that not only builds trust, but gets people to take action? And like, again, that's what we call the authority funnel, where the trust building happens with content creation and building a brand, let's just say on Instagram. And then our right hook is the ads that they see. And because consumer trust is at all-time low, I mean, I don't know how many ads that you respond to, Paulson, where you're like, let me just see this ad and let me go purchase their high ticket service because I just saw a random ad, right? It's like, you're going to do your research. You're going to check them out. You're going to like look at them. You're going to like make sure they're actually legit. So the content helps build the trust, and then the DM ad gets them in the door. And when we say in the door, what we mean is actually like in the direct messages. We're not driving them to a VSL to watch a 30-minute training. We're not, having them fill out a form and then getting their email and then chasing their email down and sending 1,000 follow-up emails. All we're doing is we're getting them into our DMs so that we can have a conversation with them in the DMs to even strengthen that trust, qualify them. They can qualify us. We can make sure they're actually legit, and then see if it goes to the next level, which would then be booking a call. But we do it all inside of the direct messages.
So, as a marketing agency, what you're saying is you're putting personal branding touches, or what do you mean by authoritative funnel? Like, are you speaking or leveraging people in the industry? Like, what does the actual hook look like from a structure standpoint?
Yeah. So from like a content perspective, like we have what's called like the ACE content framework, right? Where there's 3 different pillars, which in short, it's top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom of funnel content that we're always creating to try to speak to our audience. Because what we want people to do when they hit on our page is they want to say, that person understands me. That person gets me. That person like speaks to my pain points, speaks to my desired outcomes. I trust them. Like that's what we want people to see when they hit on us, hit on the pages of the agencies that we're talking to, and just like our agency in general. So yeah, top of funnel is like more like high level, where most people spend their time is like creating top of funnel content. It's like higher content that speaks to like a high end pain point essentially. And then middle of the funnel is more like tactical or testimonials, or something that maybe gets them like convinced on your product and more solution aware of like, hey, there's solutions out there to your pain points. And then bottom of the funnel is call to action, which is like is a keyword, or here's how we can work together, or, something along those lines. So that's the content strategy that we teach people to run. And then the ads is what kind of gets people to convert and continue to take action and guarantee the action, essentially. I mean, that's what paid ads does, is guarantee
And
traffic.
yeah, so from your perspective, which platforms should agency owners like consider running ads in?
Yeah. I mean, we preach Instagram pretty heavily. I mean, we've had people who are like, oh, my niche isn't on Instagram. Like, there's no way. And they're surprised when they get flooded with leads and qualified people because their audience is on Instagram. I mean, I think the stats, 90% of Americans, 90% of the world is on Instagram, and the average usage is in like the hours. So it's like people are on Instagram. It just might be a little bit, depending on the niche, trickier to get there. But we use Instagram, just purely Instagram.
Got it. And which industry again, I'm sorry, is your agency in?
Yep. So we are like local service. Yep.
So like home services, kind of like
Home
plumbers,
service, real estate
electricians.
too. Ton of real estate nationally too, on the real estate end of things as well.
Got it. So let's talk about the second pillar. You said ditch the cold DMs and the referral chase. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, one of the problems that a lot of people deal with in the agency space, and I mean, we've worked with like over 400 agencies, right? And the common denominator is, I am relying solely on word of mouth and referrals. I don't have a predictable way to grow, and there's a lot of implications to that, right? I think if I'm a business owner, the first solve that I'm going to make is the solve for leads, because if I can be confident in the ability to generate new business, then I can be confident in hiring. I can be confident in investing in my business. I can be confident in growth. And I think myself included, when I was first starting, is you get into this trap of referrals. And I think that's a great way to kind of catapult the business, right? I mean, we teach something called the momentum campaign, where it helps people get business like fairly quickly from like their network. But there's going to be a point in time where that referral funnel essentially dries up, right? Because there's only so many people. And then the other problem is most of the referrals come from who? Come from the founder, right? And that also just bottlenecks us from a business perspective, because we are stuck in the trap of basically being the bottleneck in the scaling. Because, okay, Austin, like, attend another networking event. Austin, like, go post on social media a couple more times. And it's like, that works up to a point. But if you want to, scale to that 7-figure mark, solving for leads and predicting that helps everything from hiring to building to all the things, essentially. So yeah, I think
Got it. So when you talk to agency founders, what are some things that you see as a pattern? Like where do you think they make the biggest mistakes?
yeah, I mean, for most agencies, like, it's all stems mostly from the foundation, which is the offer, having like a really like not solid offer. I mean, we teach the pillars of like offer, sales, systems, and hiring. Like, those are, to us, the pillars. If we can nail those, then we can truly scale. And a lot of people think, oh, it's my sales I have really bad sales, or I don't have enough leads, or my team just isn't good. But a lot of it stems from their offer not being productized, marketable, scalable, profitable for many cases. And the root of the issue is actually what they're selling and what they're pitching to the clients.
Got it. So what are the offers that you feel like works best for agencies? Like most of them spend a lot of time building up this mammoth of an offer, and typically they bake themselves in as part of the fulfillment, right?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, most agencies, myself included, probably anybody watching this who's an agency owner, they're growing their business based off of their skill sets, right? Because they have specific skill sets. Like, for me, my skill set was creating content, doing social media, doing videos, doing all that sort of stuff. And I was like, hey, cool, I'm going to package 8 videos. That's going to be my offer, all that sort of stuff. But the problem is for me, in my case, I'll just tell my story, is like, it's really hard to like have our clients justify why they should continue to work with us, because we were just selling like video and like social media and in more of like the organic ploy. And that's a problem for a lot of agencies that we talk to and work with, because they do video or content or social media or something like that. And what begins to happen to a lot of agencies is they sell their service, and maybe it works for a month or three, but when the client says to them, hey, what's like the ROI? Then the agency kind of tenses up and they're like, I don't really know. Like, we got this many views for you. This is your engagement, that kind of stuff. And I tell all that to say, like, from an offer perspective, like, the most important thing is, we as marketing agencies and agencies just in general, our goal should just be to get the clients results, and getting them like wins, making them more money. So if you have a skill set in video, then I would suggest like learning paid ads, so that you couple video with paid ads. If you have a skill set in AI, like, don't just make it service delivery, figure out how you can tie that into like revenue making for the clients. And that's been the biggest thing that we've been able to unlock for a lot of agencies, is teaching them how to get their clients results, and then simplicity, and then productizing it, and making it just step by step, and just being disciplined with it at the end of the day. So that's like the offer end of things.
Got it. How much of the offer do you guys bake in HighLevel into? Like, are there automations that are part of it? Do you do SaaS? Like, what is AI employee? Like, what is your stack look like, or the ones that you suggest?
Yeah, definitely. So same like with the ad strategy that I just told you about, like implementing that for their clients, right? And with that comes, the DM automation, comes calendar automations, comes, because a lot of like clients of agencies, they don't even have like CRMs themselves. Like a lot of the high ticket coaches, for example, or real estate agents, like they don't have a way to track everything. And if we're not attributing what we're doing for clients appropriately, then it's a mess, right? So tying attribution to what we're doing to like real results is huge. And yeah, we have a client right now, Dylan, who, we run everything through the Go HighLevel for him, and making sure that all the calendars are set up so we have a sense of control. We can see that we're actually booking meetings with the clients. We can see how many leads that we're getting, and we don't have to have that awkward conversation, or we don't have to guess. We can just see directly inside of Go HighLevel. So it makes it super, super easy.
Got it. So let's talk about the third thing. I think you feel like, or I think you said that you feel like this is the future of client acquisition. So what do you mean by that? Like,
Yeah.
what is the future of client acquisition that you see?
Yeah. I mean, again, like before, I would say like what, 2-3 years ago, it was, okay, click on this ad, go to this website, fill out a form, click on this ad, go to this website, watch a 20-minute video. But I think things are changing, right? With just trust. And I mean, one thing that we use Go HighLevel a lot with, and this is complete, probably side note, is like low ticket funnels. Even like those are becoming more and more powerful. And like we run like a fairly significant like low ticket funnel for using Go HighLevel, so that it can, start to build trust. So the common denominator is that it's getting harder to earn people's business, because people are more and more skeptical, right? Like, is this person legit? Like, you hear all these stories of all these coaches and business and service providers just like scamming people out of money. And like, that's just like we spend an exorbitant amount on ads, and just like reading through the comments, it's just like, man, like these people are just so skeptical of coaching and mentorship and agencies and service providers, because they think anybody who promotes or markets on social media is just like a scammer out there to like take advantage of people. And that's the solve that we need to make. So I think the overall, like, why this is the future, and if I'm watching this, if I'm running paid ads, it's how do I solve for like scaling trust and earning trust. So, and I think the ability of creating content and making it seamless for people to trust you and being authentic, or like on social media, and then pairing it with a way to connect with people through the DMs. It's a really simple way to accelerate the trust and earn people's business, and be human at the end of the day. So
Got it. So if you're talking to, Austin from maybe 5, 6 years ago that's starting out, what would you say to that Austin in what you know today in how to build an agency? I think you said you exited your agency, or you sold it, and now you got into coaching or different consulting services. Like, you've came, I think, different chapters now in the digital citizenship.
totally, yeah. I mean, going from real estate to building the agency to multiple seven figures, and then the current coaching business to multiple seven figures. I mean, the if I'm going to talk to the agency owner when I first started, I mean, the first thing is offer, make sure it's result driven to the client, despite like your skill set. Like, how do we just focus on getting the client's results and making sure it's productized in a marketable offer? Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to attract people. I think a lot of people, myself included, start a business because of the skill set. People want what we have, but is that scalable beyond somebody who knows and trusts you already? So that's like the first thing. And then the next is running our business like a business. So again, like I wish I knew how to run a business, and I wish I knew what systems were when I first started. I didn't even have any systems whatsoever. And that led me to, working 16-hour days some days and just like grinding all the time. And it wasn't lack of skill, it was lack of systems and team. So, and it was lack of me just knowing how to build a business. And then once we were able to build the business, then I was able to work 0 hours in fulfillment and be able to transition and hire a CEO, right? So if we can run our business like a business, meaning, predictable leads, having a good project management system, having a team, know how to hire people so that we can buy back time and actually build a business that we enjoy, that would be another major factor. Is like, don't look at it singularly, like zoom out and like see your business as a system, and then realize that systems run the business and people run the systems. And that's really what business is just like a system of a bunch of people and things operating together, and not you and your skill set.
I love that. So when you had your video, it was like a video content kind of an agency,
Yeah.
or was it like cameras, lights, action in person, or like what do you mean by video
Yep.
agency? Is it
Some of
like
both. Yep.
okay,
So
got it.
content creation, ads management, big productions. So worked with like $1 billion brands even. Most of it was retainer based. I'd say 75% retainer. Yeah.
So how did you how did you scale that business? Because it seems like it's like custom projects almost, unless I'm mistaken totally.
Yeah. I would say there's a portion. So 25% would be like custom projects where we would leave some time margin for someone who wants to shoot a TV commercial, or somebody has this budget for this big video that they want to do. It's like, yeah, we're going to do that. But I would say 75% was we had an offer for content management ads. And then that's what we scaled up. So it was basically, okay, we're going to do X amount of deliverables every single month to get them X outcome. And then at first it was just me and my partner, Mark, doing everything, my business partner, Mark. And then as we started getting busy, like it became more and more busy. So we figured out, okay, cool, who do we need to hire in order to get this stuff off of our plate? And then we, as we hired, then we scaled up the business because we bought back our time. And with hiring comes, okay, I need systems, I need project management, I need to track everything, I need a second brain for our business so that I can make sure that the team is accountable, because they're never going to be as good as me, was my mindset, right? So we had to build that, and then it kind of just scaled from there.
Got it. So what are some mistakes you feel like you made, whether it's with HighLevel or whether it's with hiring or packaging or certain markets you tapped into that was unnecessary? Like what are the mistakes you feel like you made and that you would want to share that others can learn from?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm listening to this and I'm considering HighLevel, or I'm a user of HighLevel, like one of the biggest mistakes that I made was not understanding systems well enough and not actually committing to it. I think a lot of people, they hear the word systems and it's complex. There's a lot of different things that you can do. But there's this quote that's, if you're too busy to build systems, you're always going to be too busy. So for something like Go HighLevel, if you're feeling, oh, I'm just like too busy to, build out the funnels, I'm too busy to, build out this automated onboarding and contract and all this sort of stuff in Go HighLevel, you're just always going to be too busy. So what I would recommend to people who are feeling that, which is likely probably a lot of people, is like, that's thinking like a glorified freelancer. That's thinking like really small and not thinking like a business owner. And that's going to keep you really small. So if you can think like a business owner and then create systems to buy back time to equip other team members, then you're going to be able to have a true business. So I think the action item would be spend time learning how to use Go High Level to make you more efficient, to buy back time, to create systems that you can plug somebody into, because that's where you're going to see exponential growth. Because if you can find more time in your day, you can focus on things that actually matter and move the business forward.
Yeah, I think before we got started, you had mentioned you work with a lot of agency owners now, from a consulting, coaching standpoint, and a lot of times you implement the agency operating system. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like 14 different parts, but the main thing, it's like a second brain for agencies, right? So, one of the challenges with systems is I don't know where to start, and I don't really like have the foundation to do it. So we've created the foundation for them to really build from. This includes things like onboarding system, so how to automate everything from A to Z, from contract being sent, contract being signed, on like welcome email, like that's like always a pretty popular one. Project management system, so that solves for keeping deliverables on track, managing fulfillment, and then more importantly, plugging somebody into hire, because a lot of people hire and they throw them in the deep end and they're like, oh yeah, just like do this, do this, do this. And then there's no expectation set. It's because there's no system set up. So like project management, like lead system, which is kind of like what we talked about, but actually managing everything, managing the pipeline, having the system for the pipeline, a CRM system, hiring system, a hiring onboarding system, dashboards, all that sort of stuff. Really the second brain of the business, so that, we don't have to go off of feelings. We can just go off of our system. And then like it goes back to the notion of systems run the business, people run the systems, or systems run the business, people run the systems. And if we can build the system, then it's a lot easier to plug people in and scale it up.
I love that. So where have you been able to like create accountability with agency owners when you work with them? Like how do you get the buy-in from agency owners?
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of it comes from, the pain, right? It's like they're starting to scale and they get, 5, 10 clients, let's call it. And at that point, they're less present with their family. They're feeling like they're working all the time. They're doing everything themselves. They're feeling anxious and they're feeling trapped. And then they're like, maybe I do need systems so that I can actually scale past the $20,000 month ceiling that I'm at, or $10,000 a month ceiling that I'm at. And I know that I don't want to just be a service provider. So it really comes from that. And then like for us internally at Agency U, I mean, we have weekly accountability forms, monthly NPS surveys. We have 2 coaches that get assigned to each member. We have a client portal where they just like check boxes off on everything that they need to do. So there's a private Slack channel, there's one-to-ones, there's 8 group calls a week. So there's no shortage on that. And I mean, we've had people go from $2,000 a month to over $100,000 a month because all they've done is just follow the system that we laid out for them. So the initial come to us is the pain of where they're at, where they're feeling stuck, and then the ones that are successful really just follow the roadmap.
And the folks that, let's say, are brand new to the world of marketing, like what do you teach them versus someone, let's say, who's already doing a couple of million a month?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, the new people, I think a lot of times, like they think, oh, I like need to build everything and I need to have everything established before I like go out and launch this. And they spend all this time on their website, on their logo, on like their branding, when at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is just getting clients. So like for new people, it's always like offer, because either they have a skill set that they're starting to, or they have no skill set. I just talked to somebody the other day. She came in, had no skill set. Her husband was renting, or her husband got podcast equipment from her church. And then she was like, oh, we should like monetize this somehow. And then they hired us, and then we helped her build an offer. Now she's doing $30,000 a month. But which is kind of a side note, but it's all about like the offer to start, and then sales, right? That's pretty much it. That's all you need to do until you get to the point where you're overwhelmed and feel like you need to bring on people and you need systems in place. But if you're brand new, offer, lead gen / sales, offer, lead gen / sales.
Got it. And for the folks that are seasoned,
It's the systems, right? It's building a business. It's going from you being the bottleneck to like you being the true CEO. It's like we always say, go from being an operator to an orchestrator, working in the business to on the business. And a lot of people, because I mean, unfortunately, just like the content space in the agency world is just like leads, 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 guarantee. Like if you don't get 20 leads and close $1 million in business, we'll like send you $5,000 and blah 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 blah, and like that's like what is glorified is like business, like we're going to scale your sales. But I've seen so many agencies crack as a result of getting a lot of sales if they don't have systems, because it's pouring into a leaky bucket. There's like a hole in the bucket. So if you can nail everything else, then you can keep the clients longer, and then you have systems and you have team and you're not doing everything yourself. So that's the main solve.
I love that, Austin. Well, Austin, what are your final thoughts, final words that you may want to share with the community?
Yeah, I mean, if like I think we hopefully added some value to people, but the main thing for us guys is make sure your offer is productized. Like I would use Go High Level. I mean, Go High Level literally has everything that you need in order to craft a killer offer that you could sell for a lot of times and scale it beyond even like your local market. And if you can get really good at Go High Level, that could be your freaking offer right then and there. And then if you're new, like focus on like the sales and lead gen, crack that code until you get to a point. And then once you have that, then you can build systems. Once you've been able to prove your offer, prove your model. And then once you have systems, then you can plug people in to work those systems. And I would encourage you guys to start learning about systems early. And I think Go High Level is a awesome tool from a foundational perspective to literally give you everything that you need to be successful from count. I mean, we've been using it for years, and we've tried a lot of different softwares, and this is the one that we've stuck with. So solves everything.
I love that, Austin. Well, thanks for stopping by and doing a podcast with us. For those of you that are watching, throw some comments in wherever you're watching, whichever platform you're watching, throw some comments in there. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Austin. But bye for now.
See ya.